Hello everyone, welcome to the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Series, round 7 this evening here at Bathurst. I'm Jimmy Fluke, alongside David Sampson here, so a little bit of a change up again this week. David, we've got Bathurst, you have good extensive experience of it.
Thank you.
And we've got Porsche Cup, so it's like, as far as I'm concerned at least, one of the best tests of driver versus car track combo that we've got in the service. What's your perspective on it? Looking forward to this.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. This is a driver's car and a driver's track. So, yeah, it's very testing. I always say this track's almost 2 tracks, especially up the mountain pass. And we've got the possibility of weather. I haven't checked the forecast, but I heard rumblings of a bit of rain. Yep. But you're right. Yeah, this car requires finesse, and this track punishes anything but finesse.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we've had such a good season so far, a lot of excitement, a lot of drama, and a lot of activity, and we'll be able to take a quick look at what happened last time out at Oschersleben. If we can get that pulled up. So, off the start, the Impulse teammates colliding on the first lap.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed. I wasn't much chuffed with racing at this track, but I really enjoyed the racing. But yeah, this is unfortunate. We've seen teammates collide before. Trying to work together, and if something goes wrong at the apex, so he backs out for 3 points. This was them almost being too nice to each other, and then they
a little bit
meet up again later.
Just sort of running a bit deep there, and then Scholtesek sort of worked his way back through. All of them making the mistake through that fast chicane, which it is so easy to do, and you're running so close to the slowdown as well. And then got a close call on pit exit involving Pascal Costa and Mahaladesh there of Sheja. So you know, coming out of the pits, it's such an awkward pit exit there where you're sort of throwing the car deep through T1 and 2, and you know, it's
lovely done.
Yeah, it's just such a tricky
done
section to get right. Varga and Lish come into blows.
In a way, no.
That looked, from my perspective, that Varga kind of just sort of turned in there, and Lishka was far enough alongside to not need to back out, and yeah, ended up costing Lishka a bit of time as well. And David Toth here starting to feel a little bit of pressure out in the lead. Again, it's so tricky just to get that section right. It's so easy to run it deep because you want to run it wide.
Yeah,
back in, it's quite difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they did really well. We saw the pit exit line there, but I thought they did very well to not cause calamities. And yeah, that instant we just saw, I mean, my perspective, it always looked like someone was not coming out this well. Oof. I remember this now.
Pavel Gebski sort of, in the last few laps, got involved in quite a bit of carnage here towards the end of the lap. I think it's 3 laps in a row he got involved in some sort of incident there, ending up turning Pascal Costa, who had almost got cleared, and then right at the death here, David Toth and Frank Zek for the win.
Yeah, what a combo these drivers. I mean, Liska's been such a fast guy, and then David Toth obviously needs no introduction. He's had a really good run of form last couple of rounds, and their team is looking almost looking unbeatable at the moment.
Yeah, they've been super strong all season. But yeah, this was a really good fight. Toth sort of getting hunted down here by Liska.
Yeah, very much so.
He was able to hang on for the win, and then something that we spotted in the background, Liska pulling over to let his teammate through, Scholtesek.
Of course.
But what probably wasn't made known and aware at that point was with Scholtesek pushing off his teammate on lap 1, and all lap 1 incidents get reviewed, Scholtesek ended up with a penalty anyway, so those positions got reversed back around again. Something you probably didn't actually know, but I do.
Oh, okay, no, I didn't know.
So that was all for nothing anyway.
Yes.
So
yes. No, it's good. Of course, I never really check post penalties.
Yeah, no, I'll keep on top of things for you, Dave. It's all good. It's all good. So we've got the calendar here. No, we don't. Sorry, no, we've got standings. Apologies. I'm new to the job. Forgive me. had that slightly incorrect. So in the pro standings, Davidoff now with a fairly healthy lead there, 49 points over Daniel Ola, then Rafael Scholzek, Pascal Cossa and Mate Varga rounding out the top 5. It's still fairly close, and we've still got quite a few rounds left to go, so this isn't over and done with. Oh, sorry, my apologies, this is the final round. I thought we had 10 rounds. No, it's only 7. Okay, my bad. Final round then. So Davidoff actually with then a pretty comfortable sort of lead here.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't need to take any major risks at a track where risk often equals reward, but it's so easy for it to go badly wrong, and you can play it safe around here and kind of get away with it.
Yeah, agreed, yeah.
So looking good for Toth there in Pro. Into Pro-Am, Gergo Gajer leading by just 3 points over Mattia Hapatra, who's really come into some good form in the second half of this season, ahead of Marcel Maroche, Salvatore Larne, who's had probably the most up and down season of anyone in the history of ARA.
100%.
We love watching him. Salvatore's fantastic to keep an eye on. 4th in championship, and then Kim Andre Bjorklund in 5th position. And then over into Am, Steve Kleiss hitting the 300-point mark there. 17 points ahead of Ruben Iglesias. Leon Weigel, who's missed a round or two, I believe, this season, in 3rd. So probably ruining that ever so slightly. Gordon Haag and Helder Sequeira, the second of the ACA guys there, rounding out the top 5. Into the team standings then, and the on-point team standings. So it's a Chergy sort of lockout at the front there with their academy team, basically in an unassailable position there, and they'll wrap things up this evening ahead of their sort of main team in 2nd. Then the Impulse guys, who've been slightly outnumbered by the Chergy guys this season, they've fought gamely. They've driven extremely well as well at points in season, but the Chergy guys have generally sort of been at the front a little bit more often than those guys have been.
100%, yeah.
Checkmate, and then the uni team for Chergy. So rounding out their top 5, a really sort of stacked lineup it has been this season, and yeah, a fantastic sort of display, from everyone. Some team tactics that are sort of being employed at parts this season, just trying to squeeze every last drop of points potential out of it, and yeah, it's all going to come to a head, especially that battle, I think, for 2nd place.
Yeah, I think the finale being at Bathurst, we've thrown in some weather, and yeah, I think it's. But yeah, you're right. It's been absolutely stacked. I'd have found myself in Pro-Am.
Yeah.
And I even spoke to Sam like it's me. Would you? And he was like, no, you'd still be Pro-Am.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And even then, you might not win either, because these guys are all like.
Hapatra would have crushed me.
Yeah.
Crushed me. He looks really good.
He is a great boy. We'll pull up the season schedule this time around. So that's what we've had this season. We've sort of been all over the world, Europe, South America, back to Europe, and we're finishing off down under in Bathurst, a track that I know well in Porsche Cup, although not so much in this generation of car. I sort of extensively drove it in the previous generation. A really sort of difficult, slippery sort of track, very risk-reward in terms of setup as well. You can really trim this thing out and make it rapid down the straights, but then you've got to hang on up and down the mountain, and that is not straightforward. Or you can play it safe and be more comfortable up the mountain, but then lacking the straight line speed, and there's only a couple of places really to overtake around here, so you want a car that's good in a straight line. Yeah, and the other thing is just showing your nose here at this track is a very clever tool to use. I mean, unless they hit the wall and come back at you. But you don't necessarily always need to get them moved down this track. Just need to show them those, get them offline, and you catch them at the next section up the mountain. Exactly. So we'll move on now to the format that we have this evening. So our sort of traditional heat format, 10 minutes of qualifying for each class. The pros sort of get that extra 2 minutes at the end because of the heat format. Their time sort of runs out. Yeah, the others are able to finish their lap, so it's longer than 10, whereas the pros can't. So that's why they get the extra 2 minutes. And then 10 minutes for each heat. Top 12 go through, so that's 24 in total. And then the remaining 6 come from the B final, or the consolation race, which is 14 minutes. Which is always content. It's always content. Make sure, if you're in that you load up a setup that has 14 minutes worth of fuel. Yeah. Quite easy to get that wrong. And then our final race of the season, an 18-minute blast up and down the mountain. Right, so weather report. Rain is unlikely, but not impossible. It's not 0%, so we might get a little taste of it.
Yeah.
Minimum air temp. I've just been told in my ear that in session that is dipped to 0% chance of rain. We have no rain, David.
Well, I suppose it's still unlikely, isn't it? 0.
It is. Yeah, the rain is still unlikely at 0%, and not too strong of a wind. That'll be quite manageable for everyone. You don't want a ton of wind around here because then you've got to manage it up and down the mountain, and it's quite difficult. So, conditions for good lap times for sure around here. I think I'm going to pull up now a track guide, or at least taking a look at the lap. So we'll start, as we always do, start finish line, run to turn 1. I love turn 1 as a corner, actually. I think it's such a fun, easy corner to drive where you can sort of drop the car into the camber and it pulls it round and you've got space to work with on exit. And then turn 2, really important to defend the inside. If you can defend it well, great, but if you give up ground, then you're side by side through 3, 4, 5, and all the way up, through the cut and up towards Solomon and McPhillamy Park. Yeah, and if things go wrong here, it goes really, really badly wrong because you're so unsighted coming up the hill. It's blind most of the way up.
Yeah,
we see the death and destruction that we've got bestowed upon us. This was
800 right, one spun car, and it's not a case of how dangerous everyone's being. That just always happens.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much for the car to let go, especially in the opening lap or two when the tires are cold. It's not always easy flat. And then coming down the hill, from Skyline through the Dipper and down into Forest Elbow, you're hanging on for dear life. Again, it can go badly wrong. It's not passing opportunities, although Forest Elbow kind of is, but you don't want to make the move there because you're then just going to give the slipstream all the way down Conrod Straight and head towards the chase.
100%. Yeah, if you get it done at that corner, it means you're likely very close door to door, and if they're going to have such a run on you.
We do get a lot of side-by-side activity down into the chase here, especially through that little right-hand kink, but you want the inside if you can help it, so you can try and get clear on exit through 21 and 22, and then that leaves you with an opportunity then to maybe overtake back into the final quarter. See some MX-5s here. I would love to race some MX-5s around here. Just be 2, 3 wide pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. I mentioned it to you earlier, but this is for me, this is the trickiest corner on the track to be consistent at, is this awkward last corner.
Yeah.
Big inside curb, horrible track out, and the line feels tantalizingly close, but can feel a long way away if you get the exit wrong.
And you've got that massive inside curb that in no car you want to touch.
No, exactly.
So it's really important that if you are going to go too wide there, that there's space for everyone to operate, and then it's such a short run to the line. So we see cars crashing literally over the finish line, which is always an exciting thing for us to watch.
You mentioned about T1. It's not my favorite race start corner, though. I like T1.
I agree.
But as for a corner to start this race out, I feel like T2 would be a much better way to start the race, like a run down the straight.
Oh, I mean, but T2 is so heavily cambered that everyone would just be diving to the inside, and then anyone who wants to try and lob it around the outside is just going to get fed into the wall.
Yeah, somewhere.
And then big death and carnage sort of occurs from there. Last things to cover before we get stuck into the action. Our picks. So I went with Pascal Costa in Pro. I feel like this is a track where I think he'll go well. It's not entirely been his season. The Shege guys have sort of been a little bit more consistent, but when things have been difficult, Costa has sort of rose to the occasion, so I backed him there. I just went with a rogue pick. Hopefully Kim Andre doesn't mind me saying that. He hasn't won a race this season, so I thought I would throw a bone to him there on that one. I just never fancy just a different winner in Pro-Am. Nothing else for it.
That's
and then Leon Weigel. I think he's probably been the most consistent, or at least generally the most reliable. And when he's been here, he hasn't been here every week, which is why he hasn't retained the lead of the championship. So that's why I went with those picks.
Yeah, I think they're good picks because on my picks, so I thought it would be inclement weather, tricky track, tricky car. You need every combination to go right here. And I also felt when things are at the most difficult or the weather, that Pascal Costa was number 1.
Yep.
Mateo Hapacha, I felt the same way in Pro-Am. It's been a very tight competition, but when it's mattered, when the conditions have been horrible, I just thought Mateo's a very strong driver. And much like your pick, I was going at strong on the last round. Leon Weigel, when he has the opportunity to win or the opportunity to finish very strong, it happens.
It happens, yeah.
So yeah, I went for some big names.
You went with some big names, and we'll go for not so big of a break. We'll be right back with qualifying for the final round of ARA Porsche Cup. Don't miss it.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello everyone, welcome to qualifying for the final round of ARA Porsche Cup here, which is coming through the end of the AM category. They've just finished up here, so apologies for missing those guys this week. This is what happens when you let me do a broadcast and do all the preamble. I end up talking a little bit too much. But as we can see, some clear skies actually from the looks of it here, unless that's just our B-roll footage. If we tip it over into the actuals, there we go. A little bit darker, a little bit gloomier, but no major chance of rain, or no real chance of rain.
It looks like it's humid as hell.
It does look humid. Yep, it's dry, very, very dry. Cloudy, but dry. So, you know, cold track temp as well there, sort of 19 degrees. So it's going to be grippy out there, but also it's quite difficult to get the tires into the window early doors and trying to get that nice banker lap in that everyone wants around here, so that you can then really push for the laps later in qualifying.
So obviously this car doesn't have yet the new modelled cold tyre. So it'll be interesting when this car gets it. It's just the GT3 LMP2 GTP, I believe, at the moment.
Something like that, yeah. So we have Pro-Am qualifying at the moment. These guys starting their first flying lap. So my pick for the evening, the series Norway driver King Andre Bjorklund coming up to the top of the mountain now. Ruben Iglesias, and then our pick, Leon Weigel there, first and second ahead of Steve Kleiss, Gordon Haag, Helder Seguera, Baptiste Hurtubay, Max Nevichani, and Glenn Bronton Turner. That is our 8 drivers who have set time in the AM category. So we're looking at the sectors coming in. Gergo Gajer straight away sort of putting down a purple sector 3. Be interesting to see what the lap times look like as we come to the end of the lap. It's a long lap here, so not too many opportunities to get that good flying lap in, especially with only 10 minutes plus the lap that you're on to finish. 12 laps, but without the lap to finish in Pro, it's not that many opportunities to get a good lap down, especially if you get it wrong, as the Shegi guys there swapping, which is a strategy around here for sure. Go on board now, heading towards the front where it's such a difficult corner.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on a good lap, sorry.
And yeah, if you try and reach for half a tenth, it's over.
Yeah, if you reach for half a tenth, you'll lose 3. Over the line for Gajer there, straight into P1. 3 tenths clear of all of the AM drivers.
I mean, that's one thing we will see as we go through the classes. We are going to see a big jump in skill. This is just one of those tracks where the skill level opens the lap times up a lot more than your traditional Spa.
Yeah, absolutely. Leon Weigel actually in the chat there saying 7 tenths lost in one corner. I'm so terrible, which, I mean, it's very easy to lose a lot of time around here. I think we've all been there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 2 years ago, Bathurst 12, I loaded the wrong setup, the race setup rather than endurance.
Oh, no.
Noticed it, exited the grid, went to change it too late, started from pit lane, which was interesting, by the way, because we had lower ride heights because we had race fuel. Yeah, so it's a clever trick teams should try in the future to manipulate the ride heights. But anyway, No, the calamity was 13 cars towed on lap 1.
Oh, man.
Mate, I was up 2 positions from my qualifying position, and I started from pits. How clever is that?
That's the strategy. I feel like we should all employ that at some point.
No, there was just one guy spun, and then he got hit by 2 cars, then they got hit by 3. As I'm leaving the pit road, you know, thinking, oh, I'm 18 seconds off the back, I see my standings light up like there was a server issue.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Well, hopefully we see some activity here in the races we've got upcoming. But hopefully not 13 cars wiped out, because then we won't have much of a rest of a race to report on, sadly. Mattia Patrick, your man, your pick. I think he's on an outlap. He's not registering. It is flying lap. Apologies if I got that wrong.
He did have a little bit of a network lag there for a second, so maybe just something. Hello to Tomo in chat. Well, hello to everybody. Tomo's calling out the usual Samsung missing the grid. Yeah, I did it 2 weeks ago as well. Unbelievable. I did it at Spa. If you can believe it. Top split Spa. Just chatting. Couldn't believe it.
I think we might have missed that Apache was on a lab, because I think we've got the multiple run groups here, which makes things interesting.
Of course we have.
So I kind of lost our timing ever so slightly. It's hard to actually figure out where everyone is. Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of that going on. So yes, Apache does though set a time. He goes 3rd, so he's in the mix. Salvatore Larney though up into P1 ahead of Gergo Kajer.
He's looked strong all season, Lane. Just not always finishing where he should and getting involved in too many things. Not saying it's his fault, but a bit of a trend.
Yeah, he's got involved in a lot of activity, shall we say. And it showed tremendous pace through the season.
Well, we see him overtaking a lot because he's always caught in something and having to repass.
Exactly. If he can get a good qualifying lap down, and so far it looks like he has, hopefully we'll be able to see him fighting even some of the pro drivers. So I think he is of that sort of standard where he could fit into pro. He just needs to stay out of trouble a little bit more often.
Yeah.
Oh, big slide there for Apache there.
Some people, am I right in saying some people get their pace from running it ragged? You know, that's where their technique originated from.
Yes.
And then, yeah, it's hard for them to disconnect the two.
Very true. And that was me once upon a time, where I was quite ragged. I was very win it or bin it when I started out in sim racing. Very just on the edge every corner, and every once in a while I drop it. I've sort of learned now that I'm a little bit older, and maybe not that much wiser, that you know, just running at your 95% most of the time is going to get the job done. Back there up into P9, but still behind some of the AM drivers. Really good lap actually there for Ruben Iglesias there. 4th overall so far, only 3/10 off the Pro Am guys.
Yeah, indeed.
So we've got the multiple run group thing here, so it's a little bit of a
I don't even know
swap thing here.
I've never run a multiple run group thing. I assume it's a heat race
it is
feature.
a heat,
Yeah, I've never really hosted heat races before.
So yeah, I think it's just a bit of a funky feature of it. So yeah, we only get to see some of the drivers on the track some of the time. We don't get super accurate information in terms of the standings as they come in. We'll see it pop up on the leaderboard on the left-hand side of the screen. Someone is stuffed in the wall. I think that is Matej Lampert. Hopefully we can get a replay of that. I'm hoping, because yeah, we've not had any shunts here, but that's going to be his qualifying done and dusted. He's not getting back out and starting another lap with 25 seconds now remaining on the clock. So hopefully we've got this, and we do. So he's coming up the mountain.
I think he's already...
Yeah, he's sort of worked those rear tyres.
Yeah. Yeah, it's already...
Yeah. Something that it's probably a point that hasn't been mentioned so far this evening, and I don't know whether it's been touched through the season, but the Porsche Cup is very sensitive with its tyres, always has been.
Yeah.
If you overwork them at any point, you have to be so disciplined to get them back in line. It's not like the modern tyre that we have now in GT3, GTP.
I suppose even GT3, they're quite close connected corners, so if you do get a mild temperature spike, it's almost not enough time to like even recover it before you're loading it up again.
Yeah.
I found that even with the brand new GT3 tire, yes, it doesn't suffer for the problem we all complained about, but it still sort of does if 3 connected corners are in play. Because you'll chuck it in one, you slide the rears, you go to chuck it the left, and it will go on you like it used to. But I think it's just because, yeah, the fix hasn't had time to kick in yet.
Yeah, exactly. Patcher goes quicker.
That's a strong lap.
3/10 quicker than everybody else. Gadger doesn't improve, and neither does Mirage behind him. So I think that's pretty much it for the Pro-Am drivers. The Pro drivers now are on their out lap, and they're about to get underway in terms of setting some lap times down there. Massive lap for Patcher. Your pick is looking strong.
Yeah, my Leon Weigel pick was looking strong, but losing 7/10 in one corner has cost me a lot.
Yeah. My pick, however, came Andrew Bjorklund 1.3 off the pace. I hope he can recover from where he's qualified, because that's looking slightly less promising. Oh, Mahaladesh there, squirreling down the hill there.
I hate the feeling when you get that corner run, especially in endurance.
Yeah.
8/10 is like the minimum you'll lose.
The guys are just warming up the tyres to the best of their ability. I mean, locking the rears into force elbows is probably actually going to help with that, ever so slightly. But obviously not what you want to do. You do not want any sketchy moments coming down the mountain if you can help it. So Mahaladesh then actually out of position ever so slightly, doesn't have a teammate around him, and there's plenty of the SDK esports guys about. But Balash Pala now to start a lap. If we can stay on board, I'll run you through the lap here. So over the start-finish line, heading towards T1, braking just before the 50 board, down into third, maybe second gear. Actually just keeps it in third, so maximise the traction, use all of the curb there on the outside. He's got a teammate ahead there for slipstream, so he's going to be carrying plenty of speed up towards Griffin's Bend, which is turn 2. So just slowly walk the car over to the left-hand side and spot the access road on the left-hand side. Use that as your guide. Down into third gear. Turn it in early, but avoid the inside curve to maximise the camber usage, and then make sure you don't smack the wall on the way out. Up towards cutting. Awkward in these cars, as we don't have the ABS to lean into. Gets tight to the wall on the inside. Oh, I think he slightly overdid it. That's why the car's kicked out on the way out. Careful up the hill here, especially in the cold conditions. The car can try and let go. Here sort of bleed slightly out of the throttle, and then heading now up towards Sulman Park.
Full lift.
Yeah. So these guys must be pretty trimmed out, and the tires must still be quite cold. Through McPhillamy, lead apex, and you can use that exit curb if you're brave enough. Into Skyline, full commitment here. Seems just a little bit tentative, but just get down through the gears. Make sure you don't lock a tire coming down the hill here. Otherwise, your lap is in the bin. Neat and tidy though, and heading towards Force Elbow. Again, early downshift there, just making sure he doesn't overcook it on the way in. Prioritising that exit out of Force Elbow. Looking safe so far, but I think a faster lap is probably coming later on.
Almost sense this is a banker.
Yeah, absolutely a banker. So heading then down towards the chase. He's got a teammate in front, teammate behind. Nice gaps either side, so still plenty of time here. So flat through the little kink, and then the 150 board, hard onto the brakes, probably third gear. If you've overcooked it, might need to grab sec. Really nice actually through there. You don't want to take too much of that inside curve. Lean onto the outside and then into Murray's corner to conclude the lap. Nice and careful on the way in. Just place the car right on that white line and then over the line to conclude the lap. And we'll see the time start to come in now. So it's Ola initially quickest. Pala and P7. Colby Warren there up into P5. The rest of the guys starting to filter in. Varga only P19. Philip Hammer, who we haven't even spoken about. He's not running top 5 in points this season. Former champion in this series. Down in P22.
Yeah, very, very strong driver. But yeah, just not had the season. But it probably was not helped by no team at the. I know he's with a team now, but with Impulse, Checkmate, and especially says he, it's a lot to ask, right, for a solo flyer. Yeah, it's been a season. I think this is the first time really that we've seen in ARL as a whole where like the team game for the individual honors as well has been so prominent. We've seen guys like swapping positions and really focusing on bringing their teammates forward and pushing the others behind, kind of a thing. Yeah, and I mean, it's not necessarily done bad. I mean, there
No,
probably
not
are
malicious.
4 drivers that are pound for pound stronger than in this guy. We've got some 10Ks. I mean, yeah, even Pascal Costa's underperforming on the season, but you know, a hell of a strong driver. So, yeah, he's been solid, but it's such a stacked field that him being a great driver just doesn't stand out.
Yeah. I think even these days I wouldn't even stand out in this series as a former best driver. I mean, Pascal Costa still has a pro license, for goodness sake. Like, we're talking about some serious competition here. On board with Lishka, he does have a teammate ahead of him. I believe that is Schultz ahead. Could be wrong. Probably wrong. Been wrong before and will be wrong again. But I've been told that I'm right, so happy days. So the team game, especially for these pro guys, is an important aspect. I don't know what that car does. Power them actually get out of the way. But yes, the priority on this lap is to get Lishka as far up the field as possible. Colby Warren and Philip Hammer there with a bit more of a representative lap time. But it's still Daniel Ola clear of everyone. But Hapatra still in second, which is excellent.
Oh, yeah, good spot. Yeah, very good spot. Like, it was that jump of 3/10.
I think this is going to change. Lishka to pole position, 205.1. That is pretty rapid, it has to be said.
You ever saw Max Verstappen's Audi lap in the night around here? When he put it on pole, Bathurst tail twatched it in the dark in the Audi.
Yeah, I
It's
did.
like 4 years ago.
It is a little while ago. Yeah, it was a pretty good lap. It's decent.
It was decent, okay.
Yeah.
That's high praise.
Redline Doc would pay on that one, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yes, Colby Warren. We've not actually spoken an awful lot about him over the course of the season. He has sort of been drowned out a little bit by just the sheer quality of the pro drivers. He's tried to sort of make himself known and get himself up there, but again, he's sort of one of those solo drivers, really. He's not been able to have like a core team to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we've shown like strength in numbers this season more than ever has been a real key, especially for the Cheji guys.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's looked strong, but yeah, 7K is, especially 7 flat in this field is, yeah, he's swamped.
But he's got a slipstream ahead of him, riding on board with him in the all-black suit there, which normally we would say at Bathurst, that's maybe not the wisest choice. It'll be a bit warm, but the conditions are cool, so you can stay cool even in all black. Interesting that you can probably take actually a couple of different lines there through the chase. You can either nick the inside curve or go completely around it, and it just sort of depends on whether you're prioritizing the entry mid-corner versus prioritizing the exit, just whatever works best for you.
Yeah.
So Warren then over the line. These guys will get, I believe, one more flying lap in, but won't get the second after that because the time, once it expires, that will completely end qualifying.
Philip Hammer to P4.
Hammer to P4, and we're starting to see the pro drivers slowly usurp all of the pro-ams. Apache, they're still P7 overall, is excellent. Well, P8 now overall, as Soltashek goes into third. But Lishka still on pole by a comfortable 2/10 or so.
I feel confident in saying I would easily slap Pascal Costa at the moment. He's sitting on a 220.
He is sitting on a 220.
I think I could pull a 19
is
easy.
a 210.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, we need to get around the lap first, Dave. We need to not crash coming down the hill. Either he's saving something massive or he's in a spot of baller. And the fact that he doesn't have a teammate around him, to me, indicates it's the latter. Maybe stay on board with him and see if he's on a maximum push. He needs to be on a maximum push because he's not going to have time to get another lap, and this will be it for Pascal Costa. Unless he's kind of just mooching around and he just wants to have fun in the last race because he doesn't have championship hopes anymore. I don't know, but yeah, he looks fully committed here. The tires are probably in the ideal window. Still a foot left here.
Oh, that's too much.
That is too much, and that's probably 0x as well. I heard the smallest scuff off the wall there.
I mean,
That's
even
a
if
lot
it
of
isn't,
understeer.
he's lost too much time.
Yeah. So, not good for our pick. But he's still going to keep at it. Neat and tidy, but not, I would say, on the absolute limit there. Coming down the dipper. Run a second. That's more on the limit on the way in there. Really fighting the wheel, but actually probably an overdrive. He's had to almost bleed out of the throttle there on exit, which you really don't want to be doing here. If you can help it, you want to be onto the throttle and just fully crunching it. David Toth over the line. And no improvement. Stays P4. Philip Hammer over the line. Stays P5. No, he doesn't.
P2.
That's a late update on standing there.
Well, he shut me up, didn't he? He heard I said top. There might be 4 stronger drivers than him, and bam, P2.
P2. Very, very good stuff there from Philip Hammer.
Pallet all the way down in 10th, out qualified by a Pro-Am.
He hasn't finished yet, though, has he?
Yeah, he's not on track.
Oh, he's not on track. Okay.
Well, unless there's a group thing. Yeah, it could be the group thing.
Might be the group thing. Lishka didn't improve, but I don't think he needed to. Pascal Kosik over the line. Yeah, his lap does count. So we've seen that massive bit of understeer. It did look a bit of an untidy lap there from Costa. So P9 is all it is. Pala in P11, beaten out by Apacher. I think everyone's finished because I think everyone sort of knows the game now. They know not to run it too close to the wire if they can help it. So I think everyone is finished. It's qualifying done and dusted.
Sazy not having the best qualify. I mean, obviously they have 4 cars inside the top 7, but they have 1 car inside the top 4. So,
which hasn't happened a lot this season.
Correct. Yeah, we're used to seeing a flood of their cars.
So Daniel Ola in 3rd is the top of the schedule, guys. But yeah, we have a nice jumbled up grid. Plenty of movers and shakers here. So yeah, it should be quite interesting as we get into the first heat of the evening. Just something to point out. Lucas Talman's in here, but only in P25. Rafael Berdish as well, right at the very back, the slowest of all qualifiers. You just didn't get a representative lap in. So,
Steve Clay's in chat saying horrible round to finalise the championship. It is, if you're not good at this track, it's horrible, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, this is a track where either you've got it or you don't, and if you don't, you're not quick around here.
No.
So, starting grid for the first heat. Lishka ahead of Ola in 2nd, then Toth and Tamish Simone. So, Lishka sort of outnumbered here at least. Pascal Costa P5 and Balaj Pala P6. So it's all impulse through the first 6. Mark Gonzalez ahead of Mate Mahaladesh. And then Ruben Iglesias sort of splitting some Pro-Am drivers along with Leanne Weigel to lock out row 5. Julian Mary and Dominic Beck on row 6. We roll it through there. Lucas Talman, who I mentioned before, from P13. A driver that we definitely actually want to keep an eye on because Talman is always fireworks in the series. Yep. And in ARL in general, he's always been a hive of activity alongside Max Nevenchany, Anthony Bernard, Glenn Bronte-Turner, Quentin Rocher, and Pavel Gebski.
So for anyone wondering, this is the odd finishers from our qualifier.
Exactly. So that's why
I'm not calling them odd. I mean 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th.
I mean they're driving Porsche Cup at Bathurst. I think they're all a little bit odd.
A little.
Like, if you're choosing to spend your Thursday evening doing this, then
fair.
There's a little bit of oddity going on there because this could be absolute carnage. So Quentin Rocher there at the back of the field. Got eyes at the front. Lights are on. Revs are rising.
Yeah, need a good launch here.
And away we go. So good start there from Lishka. He'll be able to pull across. There's quite a stagger here with the grid, so plenty of room to filter into lines. Actually, a really good start there from Lishka. He should be able to hang on to P1. A little bit of side-by-side action further down through the field, but everyone so far through turn 1, absolutely clean.
Yeah, you're right. The way the grid's, I always said T1's not the best, but everyone went single file.
I think, yeah, the big stagger between the grid slots really, really helps. And Lishka, with that good start, is able to hang on comfortably ahead of Daniel Ola into T2. Mahaladesh here.
Well, you do not want to go around the outside of that one. There is no grip for days.
Absolutely not. All of the grips on that inside line. Weigel there sort of finding out firsthand that you do not want to be wide through turn 2. But all quiet, all fairly tame actually. Single file coming up the mountain here. Just a couple of...
Oh no. That send looked ugly, but I don't see any deaths.
Not yet. Plenty of time for it though. Iglesias is trying to hang on from Talman, who's already up 2 positions. He's going to want to try and work his way forward. That being said, it is a smaller grid this evening, and as always, top 12 make it through from the heats here.
So Weigl just needs to hit his marks because, yeah, 12th's not too far away. He has the pace to maintain this.
Oh, Talman through the back. Oh my goodness.
Well, you called it. I think he's going to park it. Yeah, he's parked it.
Yeah, he has parked it. Yeah, a little bit ambitious there from Lucas Talman. And yeah, that's his race done. I think he's still going to be a top 12. Maybe he wants to race in the competition, I don't know. But a pro against an AM,
Whoa.
These things normally happen where there's just a different confidence really on the brakes into a slow speed corner. And he's just parked it there, which, yeah, we can all have our opinions on that. I would have kept going and at least try and make it through to the top 12 so you don't have
we've
to
got
race.
someone pitting, I assume, quali fuel.
It's either quality fuel or a jump start, one of the two. So
fair. Let's see if he goes straight through.
That's going to knock him out of the top 12 for sure, unless we have 6 shunters over the course of the race.
Looks like you're right.
We'll see. Fantastic shot there just at the end of pit lane. Is he going to find his entire way through? We'll keep an eye on anything else sort of happening. Anthony Brunon's actually up 3.
Yeah, good call from Jamie. Jump start.
Straight through. Iglesias and Weigl. So they had swapped at the start.
Now he's like, yeah, you suffer on the outside.
Yeah. So Iglesias losing out on the sort of net AM lead there and falls back down into P10. Still in a comfortable spot, but he's got pro-AM drivers directly behind him who maybe these guys just had slightly weaker qualifying. It's hard to truly say.
I wonder what happened to Beck, down quite a few positions, right?
Becker's our jump starter.
Oh, thank you. Of course, because Talman, yeah, okay.
So if we can get on board with them, we should be able to... Oh, that's not even close either. He's, we didn't catch that at the time because...
I think he's dropped the clutch when the first bit starts, not the when the lights come up.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I always nowadays keep my fingers away from pit stops and clutches, and then when the light comes up, I bring them near. Because, yeah, I'm the same. If you're nervous and tentative and anxious, pops up into a screen, you react.
Exactly.
Oh, side thing, I saw a funny Matt Malone clip the other day. He baited people at the grid start by just before green saying, go, on the radio, and someone jumped.
That's excellent. That's such a Matt Malone thing as well.
Brilliant.
Ever the practical joker. Daniel Ola there getting pushed along by his teammate David Toth, but that gap is, I think, out of draft range. 1.4 seconds around here is not to be sniffed at.
Yeah, and to be honest, let's face it, they need to be in the finale.
Yeah.
But no, Liska with incredible pace. We saw this at Spa. The 1 lap pace, absolute machine.
205.2 on the lap time. That's like a 10th off his quali time.
Wow.
I assume conditions maybe have changed ever so slightly, but the track was already pretty grippy, and he's just smashed that out of the water. Incredible start there. So the guy's in draft behind, so like Marco Gonzalez there in P6 there, having full slipstream the whole way up and the whole way down the mountain, still only like a 10th shy of Liska in clean air. Speaking of Marco Gonzalez, it's a name that I didn't recognise. He's in the number 19 car, which means that he probably joined the league quite late after our admin set the car number. So, first race for Marco Gonzalez, one of the team checkmate drivers. There's quite a few of them now on the grid.
Yeah, they've looked strong. It's almost like the team didn't come together till late into the season, like with Talman not driving. No, I don't think Talman did many at the start.
Yeah, Talman sort of come in later.
Gonzalez coming in very late.
Yeah.
I think the team checkmate team, I mean, I think they would have pipped Impulse, to be honest. I know Impulse have had some strong finishes, but team checkmate's not that far behind when Impulse had such a strong start to the season. Yeah.
Gonzalez up 1. He's overtaken Balaj Pala off the start and sort of extended his gap as well. So,
and let's not forget, Balaj Pala's what, 9.6k?
Yeah, he's got a lot of IRA. So keep an eye on Gonzalez. He hasn't got a livery, so again, this must have been like a fairly late entry for it to not be showing on our end. Looking further back, no major dramas here. Burn on there, slightly wide through the chase. But through on Julian Mary. But these guys are quite comfortable actually in terms of making it through, pulling away from Pavel Gebski, who looks like, despite coming up 5 positions on the start, isn't quite going to make it into the A final once we get to it. Lishka still pulling away from Ola.
Yeah,
Toth still sitting behind, so I'm not sure if these guys want to swap at any point or if they're kind of resigned to the fact that Lishka's just dropped them completely out of range, and yeah, it's going to be an impulse win ahead of a posse of Sheffield esports guys.
Yeah, Gebski's lap times are just not fast enough. We have a question in chat. Is Max in this split? No, sorry, Horn. No, Horn is not. He's in the next one. Sorry, I'm always... Is Max in this split? But this was different. It was a...
Well, Horn isn't actually in the split. Horn's not racing tonight.
Oh.
I don't see him on the list. He's pepped in really late. Because he wasn't around for qualifying.
Yeah, there you go.
Didn't set a quality time. Wasn't in the server in qualifying.
So Max is in this split?
Yes.
Well, the next one, sorry. And hello to Mr. Greg Hubler.
Hello, Greg. So yes, Nick Horn has just sneaked in there, snuck in there. What is the grammatically correct?
Snuck.
I think snuck is the right word. We'll roll with it anyway. Julian Mary down through the field. That's not good.
Oh no, this is the top 12 chance gone?
Oh, it's completely gone at this point.
I wonder what happened there. There was nothing to fight for, right, in their positions. They had a massive gap over Gebski. I'm not sure.
So Gebski's not in prime position to make it, starting from the very back of the field. If we can get a replay of that, just so we can see exactly what happened. I suspect he's just lost it on the compression on the way down the hill here. Down in third, second gear through the right. I'm going to hold it in second.
Yeah, already gone. Yeah, already gone.
It's slightly loose on the way in, and then if you don't try and correct it on the way through, and then you've got to just sit and wait as well.
Like, being careful with your throttle sometimes is more dangerous. I try and explain this a lot, but coming off the throttle sounds safe, but it's not. You're sending a lot of weight to the... You're shifting the weight balance on with your suspension, your momentum changing. So you're best just to leave, like, induce understeer almost. Like
Exactly. Gonzalez with the snake, they're opening the door on the inside. Just about stays ahead of Balazs Pala. But not how I'd recommend defending in that scenario into turn 2. All you have to do is hold the inside line there. If someone gets around the outside of you, in the dry conditions at least, through turn 2 here, you've got it massively wrong. As Glimber on the turn actually opening the door here for Dominic Beck, who, if we remember correctly, was our jump starter. So he is quite a bit quicker probably than Glenn. And Glenn's probably just done the right thing there in not excessively holding up a quicker driver.
Well, in this case, letting him by can sometimes secure a position because you know he's on the hunt. If he causes a few accidents, you lock yourself in a P12.
Yeah, exactly.
Keeping someone who's faster than you behind, when you could let them by and use them as a weapon, is a...
I mean, it's a valid strategy because Glenn's going to know that Dominic is quite a bit faster, and that puts him under pressure in such a way where if he takes on too much pressure and makes a mistake, then he's not there to capitalize later on if there is something that he could capitalize on. That being said, we are on the last lap here. Costa and Simon here for P4. Well held by...
Costa's going to have a run.
Pala and Gonzalez in the background. And Mahaladesh. Oh no! Gonzalez just lost out there. He will hang on to P8, but it's Lishka ahead of Ola. Confident win there from Frankishek and Lishka to take our first heat of the evening. And the Shezhi guys all the way down through then to Pascal Costa in P5. Get a replay just as everyone.
It's almost like the teammates ganged up on it. This is what happened.
Yeah, this is where the team game has really been powerful for the Shezhi guys. They've almost been able to work in packs throughout the entire season.
So
we're not going to quite catch it as the session ticks over. Yeah, he's just got fed out.
Yeah, I mean, that was self-inflicted. He ran, he tried to reopen up the corner because he felt bad that he tracked out all the way. But, yeah, I mean, good racing.
Yeah, fantastic racing there.
Should we do it again?
We shall, and we will. With Philip Hammer on pole position for the second of our heats ahead of Rafael Scholtesek, Mate Varga and Colby Warren in P4. Then the first of our Pro-Am drivers, Mattia Hapacher in P5 with his Italian teammate Salvatore Larney from North Sim Racing in P6. Then Gergo Gajer, Ivan Vargas there in P8. A little bit of a weaker showing there from Vargas, one of the Team Checkmate drivers, ahead then of Marcel Mirage. Steve Kleiss, our top AM driver in this particular heat, ahead of Gordon Hogg, Helder Sequeira in that all-important P12 position, and then everyone trying to fight their way through. Baptiste Hurtubite, Kim Andre Bjorklund, and actually the rest are starting to filter through as we get the lights up. Ready to rumble here for Heat 2 of the ARA Porsche Cup final round here at Bathurst. It's a good start from Philip Hammer. Not quite as convincing as what we had seen before, so really strong start there from P2. A little bit side-by-side activity here, but once again, so far, pretty clean through turn 1.
Very clean. I don't know if Hammer's going to be able to hold on to this. Obviously, he's going to fight this. He's going to go defensive, but let's see. He
has to defend the inside line here, and does. Scholtesek's going to have to go all the way around the outside.
That's quite a run from Scholtesek, though.
It is.
But there's no grip out there. No way he gets this. He'll be third.
Going to lose the spot as well then to Mate Vargas. So went for it all and has come up short, and it's went so deep through T2. He's lost the spot there to Mate Varga. And this is only a 10-minute race as well, so it's not going to be easy to get all of that time back. Looking back now, it's Salvatore Larney in P9. Not the start I think he was looking for. He's down 3 positions, losing out to Gajer, Vargas and Mirage. So not the start that Salvatore Larney was looking for. But unfortunately for Larney, that's sort of the tale of his season. It's never straightforward with Salvatore. And hopefully, for his sake, he can work his way back further forward to where he roughly qualified, because he deserves that, because he's such a quick driver and he's just not been able to put it all together.
Yeah.
Kim Andre Bjorklund, my pick, has worked his way inside the top 12. Nick Horn hasn't taken to the start. Oh, I've just been told that Nick Horn has fell into trouble once again.
Max is out. We will try and get a replay.
Hopefully we will get a replay. Not for Nick's sake, but for all of our stars to work out what actually happened.
A few things with Scholtesek's move there. Obviously around the outside is, it's bold, but why didn't he pinch Hammer to the inside, maximising?
I think he just ran deep.
Yeah.
Gordon Hogg, they're making the move on Steve Kleiss, and Bjorklund trying to go around the outside as well into the chase here. As Varga's gone deep in the chase there. Bear in mind, lap 1 as well, and if he's cut the course, he might still have a slowdown penalty that he could need to serve. Actually, it looks like he's back fully up the pace there, but that's down to P5. Scholtesek given a reprieve there. Oh, big squeeze into the wall there. 3 wide, almost 4 wide headed to T1. This cannot end well. And it doesn't. Bjorklund's got turned round. My pick, my beloved pick, is sadly looking square in the face of the B final rather than the A final. So it's all kicking off there. Sequeira now still holding on to P12, but Lampert there, and Rafael Berdish as well. So these guys trying to work their way into the A final. Still to play for. This is a bit more action-packed than our first hit.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, this is what happens to Nick Horn.
Oh, it's going to be cold tires coming down the hill. He's run it deep.
Yeah, too many turns.
And he's panicked and smashed the brakes. And
you want to try and set up a straight line that just bumps over that curb.
It's so difficult to get
for sure.
So difficult to get right. Because if you get the first part wrong, you're done. Like, you just don't see it. And he's overcooked it slightly on the way in with the cold tires. The car just hasn't got the grip and the confidence.
100%.
Like it left, and it just went straight on. So Colby Warren up into P3 now, taking advantage of Varga going through the chase. We'll see what happens to Larney.
So I think this is just...
So it's Gajer on the inside.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't think there's much in that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, he did what I suggested Scholtesek should have done, and it didn't pan out, so I'm not suggesting that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there is
a little bit of pinch is all I meant. You know, like to
A
try
little
and obviously increase your grip and minimise their exit.
just a little holding pattern here once we grab some live pictures.
What a shot, though.
Fantastic shot there, looking overhead. So, yeah, not what Lorna was looking for, but he did put himself into a tough position there and then did try to pinch. And if the inside car isn't absolutely glued to that white line,
Sure.
then you're just going to get fed off. He hasn't lost too much out of it. Still in P9, so not the end of the world, but you're effectively losing double those positions when it comes then into the A final, because you're losing the positions on the guys from the other heat as well in terms of your starting position. So every position does really matter here, and it's super important to you know, maintain the positions. So apologies for seeing everything sort of in double speed at the moment. Hopefully we can get back into live pictures. It still looks like replay though. Try and pick up live action very, very soon. But at the moment, it's Philip Hammer still leading by 0.7 of a second or so, ahead of Colby Warren, Mattia Patcher, and Mate Varga rounding out your top 5.
Very strong race from Patcher.
Yeah, very strong race. Your pick, you've went with the probably slightly more orthodox pick, and it's paying off so far. With me going with Bjorklund. My pick for Pro-Am win is staring at the B final, unfortunately. Sadly, we've just lost everything at the moment.
Here we go.
We're back.
Hammer time.
Hammer time. Live pictures, hammer time. What more do you want? So the top 2 are broken
And his
away.
former team. Let's add some spice to this. That's his former team behind.
Yes.
So I'm trying to like do F1 journalist
These
things.
guys hate each other.
Exactly.
I don't know if they do, but we'll try and ham up some drama here. Patcher hanging on for dear life against the Shezhi guys. A mix of pro and pro-am drivers behind, and then Ivan Vargas in the checkmate car also waiting in the wings. So all still to play for. If Patcher can hang on here, this actually might do his Pro-Am Championship hopes the world of good. Still plenty of points on offer here in this final round. So if he can really hang on to this P4 position, he's qualified so well. And he's hanging on really, really nicely here.
He has. And I think he's going to be able to hold on to this as well.
It's tricky because it's Mate Varga who qualified well up there and at one point was running second before his mistake. So very, very difficult to see how Patcher's going to sustain this because he's under so much pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
If someone is...
I don't think he has the ability to let one by, though, does he? It's a swarm.
If it was let one by and then, you know, cruise along, sit straight behind, then yeah, he might be able to do that. But there is a train of them forming up behind him, so not quite truly train levels just yet. I mean, of course, another Italian driver, thought to throw that in there. But there is a little bit of a queue starting to form up to take advantage, including his teammate here, Salvatore Lorne, at the back of that pack.
See, look, if we look at this perspective and the livery we're looking at, and then the Italian flag from Patcher, green on the left, white in the middle, red on the right, you can see why I spent 4 races confused. I feel like their livery needs to be the other way around.
If you're looking at it head on,
Yep, it's only...
then it is red, white, green rather than green, white, red.
Exactly. Oh, here we go. Hammer holding on.
Not being forced into a defensive move just yet. And that's important. He doesn't feel the need to cover him off immediately. So that shows that Hammer still feels like he's under control here as we head into the final lap here of the second heat. Big gap back to Colby Warren in third. So not the end of the world if these guys start to fight amongst each other. As long as they don't take each other out, it will finish 1 and 2 here. Patcher gamely hanging on. I think he just about has some slipstream, maybe just the smallest touch on Colby Warren, which is helping him out massively here. But Solczak still putting a ton of pressure on Philip Hammer. It's worth a go around the outside this time, because if he loses out, it's not the end of the world. all the way around the outside. The tyres fully up to temperature and pressure. Not quite able to do it, and Hammer was very respectful there as well and still comfortably held on. So the outside line just not working.
And they've got a big gap.
Yeah.
It's actually very impressive how much they've dropped Warren and co.
Absolutely. Patrick's still hanging on for dear life to 4th position here. A really, really good result if he can hang on for the remainder of this lap.
There is a pro in P13, but just too far back for any content. Because had this been Rennsport, we'd only be watching the 12th position, right?
Yeah, very, very true. So Helder Sequeira hanging on then. Well,
Yeah.
hanging on. He's actually like putting decent pressure here on Steve Kleiss.
Indeed, yeah.
He's fallen off a little bit on Gordon Hogg. But Rafael Berdish isn't going to make it through into the A final from the looks of it here. He's 2.2 seconds back, and even for a man of his particular speed, he's not going to close that on half lap unless there's a major incident in the last half lap here. Hammer has a bigger gap this time coming down into the chase and should be able to hang on ahead of Rafael Soltisek, but wait and see. Further back, Gager and Vargas fighting for P6. Patcher looks like he's actually hanging on comfortably now for 4th position. So this is a big move for Gager in terms of championship points as well. Big squeeze, and Vargas just about going to hang on, is he? He's had to get onto the brakes to hold on and loses the spot to Mirage. But over the line, Philip Hammer wins ahead of Schultesek. Warren, a Patcher, strong P4. Gager actually then up into P5 ahead of Varga. I wonder if that's a deliberate swap just to help Gager out in the Pro Championship. That remains to be seen. Mirage P7, Vargas, Larnay, Haga.
Oh,
Sequeira,
yeah.
and
Kleiss has lost out on the lap.
Oh, he's had a fight. I believe that was Sequeira.
But just to remind everyone, he had the top 12 lot.
Oh, he's just dropped it on his own.
On white flag, right?
On white flag. 2 corners from the end. Steve Kleiss has dropped it.
Ah, what a shame.
That's...
And yeah, he's our champion. Sorry, our leader at the moment.
He is. That's massive. So he's going to have to work his way through. But if anyone can, Steve Kleiss can from 2nd position. But it's Quentin Rocher from pole position in the B final. Bear in mind, this is a 14-minute race, so hopefully everyone has put enough fuel in to do the 7 laps it will be around here. Max Nevenchani, Mate Lampard, Julian Murray, Kim Andre Bjorklund. That's your 6 so far that would make it through. Only 5 to drop out from the B final and not making it through to the A final. Currently, that looks like Dominic Beck, Nick Horn, Glenn Bronton-Turner, Baptiste Hurtabout, and from the very back of the field, Lucas Talman. I'm hearing in my ear from our producer that Nick Horn hasn't made an A.
I thought he did.
I
he did. He did make one. Yeah, I feel like he did.
He made one when I was sat here.
Yeah.
Green flag in the air for the B final. Quentin Rocher with not the most convincing of starts. Steve Kleiss
no, he seems a bit bogged down.
Got the run off the line here. They'll be side by side through turn 1. Plenty of space given.
Wow.
Big move around the outside, and will then have the inside for turn 2. That's so important for the remainder of this race. But Matej Lampert also with a good start here, getting ahead of Max Nevenchani. So 2 by 2 they go, heading towards turn 2.
Yeah, we've not seen the outside line work here, but not very committed. I think he's got that clear.
Huge move there from Quentin Rocher. Full commitment on the brakes on the way in there. I thought he didn't have that covered. I guess Steve must be running a very high wing set. Quentin going
very slow there on the inside.
I think that was Julian Murray. Not 100% sure on that one.
So is it top 6 that qualify?
Top 6 make it through here. So this is everything.
Oh
no, it's Nick Horn.
That's Nick Horn.
It's Nick Horn around again.
He is not going to be. I'm hearing in my ear Sam wants us to rewatch.
Sam, on cameras this time, is insisting that we watch this.
Yeah, we filed our complaints, but he deleted them. Just want that clear.
Back in the front of the action here, Quentin Rocher, fantastic recovery after that poor start to retake the lead, and has pulled out a little bit of a gap here over Steve Kleiss in 2nd position. These guys all still will make it through.
Yeah, but Steve's position, am I right in saying his position for the next race is going to be massively affected, even with a P2 here?
Yes, it will be impacted. He was comfortably, well, it was still P12 though.
Yeah.
From the previous heat.
Too wide.
Bjorklund and Lampert side by side, also looking at Steve Klaus as well. Important for these guys just not to do anything silly. They're in position. Talman didn't take the start, neither did Hurtabout, so it's only 2 drivers that you need to be. So that's currently looking like Julian Murray and Lynn Bronson Turner. So no heroics here, just get yourself onto the grid for the last race and make sure that you can...
What happened to Talman? Do we know?
I guess he's just all dead forward after not immediately winning on lap 1. I'm not sure.
Aye.
Didn't fancy working his way from P11 up into the top 6 in this
That's a shame.
B final. Yeah, that's a shame because we love watching Lucas race. He always brings fun and excitement.
He's going to lose 2 here.
Going
to lose 2 here.
He is.
This is teammate next, right? Or is that just a similar livery? Similar livery, right? He's going to lose 3. Lost.
Sam trying to make a pun in our ears. It's not going to stick. Neither is the rear end of Kim Andrew Bjorklund's car there coming out of the cutting there, back in stepping. You've got to be careful through here, just to make sure that he doesn't tag the wall, and has done successfully. Dominic back there in P4, probably still slightly out of position after the jump start in Heat 1. But he's been sort of disciplined and professional about it. He's not got himself in any trouble since. He's up the 3 positions. He was on the outside looking in on this one. All he's had to do is just slowly work his way through. He's up in P4, and he doesn't need to do anything silly from here.
Yeah, it's the worst feeling, that jump start, anxiety, waiting for the green, and if you get caught by the lights coming up, you feel yourself releasing, even if your brain realises in time, and then you shuffle forward. And unlike Lando Norris, who can seem to get away with it, jump forward and then it goes green, then he goes, and he's like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Bjorklund, Pro-Am driver on Rocher, the AM driver. Comfortable move there. And maybe this is a good idea for Rocher, just to sit behind Bjorklund, who might be a little bit faster, try and keep him away from the clutches of Mate Lampert, who sort of somewhat surprisingly hasn't made it through into the A final straight away, and haven't come through the B final this time around.
But yeah, unless Nevanchani can find some pace, Beck losing another position there.
Yep, Mary got ahead of Nevanchani on this last incident here. For Dominic Beck, I did just say that he just needed to keep it neat and tidy, not do anything silly. Into the final corner here. So he's overcooked it, hit the wall. Yeah, and the car's not tracking straight.
No, and this is going to end up in a horrible mess. And
no,
oh, look, he's bent to the right quite far,
yeah,
40 degrees.
For Dominic Beck.
We've talked about that corner over and over again. The last corner.
Yeah.
It seems so simple.
Again, we're sort of struggling with going from replay mode back into live pictures. Hopefully we'll get that resolved in just a moment. But the only driver still running that isn't looking like he's going to make it through is Glenn Bronton Turner. He's still got hope, still got an opportunity. Just going to have to rely, though.
Just one crash. Yes.
Just on mistakes from others. Because at the minute, Glenn doesn't quite have the pace. He's sort of 4 seconds off the back of the pack.
Beck there just lost the rear for probably half a nanosecond. Corrected. Yeah. The car agreed. Gone right. Onto that grass, and then, yeah, that wall comes up real quick.
Certainly does. Northamptonshire has completely dropped off the back of Kim Andrew Bjorklund. So no slipstring help there. But still in the position that he needs to be, which is second, and get him into the A final. And all points are good points. So
Glenn needs somebody to fight.
Or even just a big mistake, which can very easily happen around here.
Sorry, I've been doing ARL broadcasting a while, and that's the best comment I've ever read.
Oh, fantastic. Sam's producer skills are new. He's Nick Horn. Sam's producer skills are new as well as my driving.
I'm printing that and putting it on the wall.
Oh, that's brutal.
Sam's been asking for it.
I mean, he sat and looked at Nick trying to rotate the car back around for 15-20 seconds or so. Nick, I think, is fair to.
Yeah. We're not deleting that comment. That's well within his rights.
You tell Nick. Justin Mullins in chat saying, "Let's go, Colby." Colby with a strong run out in his heat, finishing in 3rd position.
Wait, did Sam delete the comment?
Yeah, he did.
That's moderation abuse.
I agree.
That's disciplinary, I think.
Hashtag ban Sam. We won't put up with cyberbullying on this channel. Yes. Well, I mean, sounds like we will.
So,
if it's not coming from chat, it'll come from us, David.
Correct. Mate Lamp at 3.3 back. Your pick, Bjorkland, in this consolation final is absolutely flying.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn
still only going to put him P25 on the grid for the A final. It's not exactly where he wants to be. This is what we sort of missed out on. Lampert here getting the move done on Northamptonshire, who's actually dropped back behind Steve Kleiss as well. So textbook move up the inside. A little bit of inside curve there, but not the end of the world. But Bashir giving
he's going to lose in the last corner.
Yeah, he's been very generous there. And then Steve trying to get his revenge for lap 1 and up the inside of turn 1. So the chase is on between Lampert and Bjorkland. We'll hopefully see some lap times this time around, given that it's the first opportunity that we've seen both in clean air. But I think Bjorkland has the measure here, which, considering he's my pick, no huge bias here, but promising to see that my pick is doing well.
Bashir's been passed. Bashir dropping back.
He is, yes, but I suspect it's just he's taking it easy rather than him having an issue. But Julien Mary, sort of a quiet evening for Julien. This is going to be, again, a fairly straightforward move. Quentin giving loads of space. He just doesn't want to get wiped out.
For sure. As long as he doesn't bin it, he's through. Glenn Bronter's a little too far back, needs something to happen.
Yeah, and Glenn sort of dropping further off the back of Max Nemchani, who holds that final spot into the A final. So the race will probably settle down a little bit from here, but hopefully we'll see a little bit of activity. But Bjorkland pulling away now. That gap went from about 3.3 up to 4.1 seconds. And in fact, Steve Kleiss is actually hanging on nicely onto the back of Mate Lampert. So maybe.
But there's no points online, right? It's just position for the feature race.
Correct.
So
that's
yeah,
my understanding. It's not
risk reward is quite high, unfortunately, for going for something, especially here at this track.
All it does is improves where you start for the A final, which is either right at the very back or very close to the back. But
correct,
you're not going any further forward than P25 if you aren't in this race. So. Yeah, not ideal for these guys. If there is going to be an incident on the mountain, these guys are almost certainly going to be in some way involved, either coming up to it or a part of it. And we often see track blockages in the bigger field races around here when an incident does happen.
This question's more for our illustrious and overlord producer. Who is Steve Kleiss' competition for the championship?
It was, I believe, Ruben Iglesias, who actually had a really good run out in that first race. Made it through nicely.
Yes, so that 2 corners from the end.
Yeah. So all changed then in the standings. Steve's, yeah, it's a costly error and under no pressure as well. It's not like he had a car close behind. He's just dropped it on throttle pickup.
He had a fast driver behind, but far enough away that all you've got to do is hit your marks.
Yeah, exactly. Got a replay here of Max Nemchani. Easy does it down the hill.
Oi!
Oi, oi, oi.
Worst feeling. Glenn almost through there. Glenn almost through there.
So that's cost Nemchani about 4 seconds, but still has a reasonable margin over Glenn Bronton-Turner. Question is, does he have any significant damage from that? If we can go on board actually with Nemchani, that would be fantastic, so we can see if the wheel is tracking straight. That's the camera angle that we look.
Yeah.
And it looks looks okay.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to drive around here with steering damage due to the rear toe being
100%.
lashed out of line. Because that makes coming back down the line almost impossible. So I suspect we'll see Max here be very cautious on the final couple of laps here. Got 2 to go. This and one more will finish it off for the B final.
The spin was a little unfortunate. Almost just got 2 tyres on the inside, curb in there, and it just slightly over-rotated him.
Yeah, we've seen a similar spin in the first heat, I believe.
Oh, yeah, he's nervous.
He's not confident through there
No,
at all.
he did not want to turn.
He almost turned himself out of it and then knocked the front off.
But we've all been there. Nerves here will, it'll kill you.
This is not a track that you want to drive if you're not fully confident in your car.
No, correct.
So Julian Murray actually not really pulling away from Quentin Michelle. Quentin probably knows he's good here. Will make it through into the A final, providing that he just keeps it on the black stuff for the final tour around Bathurst here. Bjorklund comfortably pulling away from Matej Lampert. Gap's over 5 seconds now, so yeah, strong stuff from Bjorklund, sort of finding his feet now. His fast lap of the race still about a second or so off the ultimate lap time pace, but consistently in the mid 206s. Matej Lampert at 207.3. Pretty much everyone else in the 207s, then Nevin Chaney at 209, and Bronte Turner at 210. So that's sort of what we're looking at here. It's kind of in the position that they probably should be, based off of fast lap times. And so the correct drivers, all things being said, are going to make it through here. Dominic Beck, really unfortunate for him that he made the mistake that he did. He was comfortably in. Was going to recover nicely, given the jump start. Was going to make it through. No, he's not going to make it through. His day is done. It's just a shame that we didn't see more of Lucas Talman this evening.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we could have done with some of his high-risk moves down into Forest Elbow or into T1 or something like that. Something that we know that Lucas would try. See the gaps there on the left-hand side. The drivers are going to make it through. It's all sort of settled down here through the final lap of the race. Nothing really for any of these guys to fight for. Nevin Chaney pulling away from everyone, Turner, despite that shaky moment down the line.
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough drivers on track for them to want to risk anything, right? No one's being caught for a position, so everyone is at the moment in bring it home mode, which I fully understand.
Yeah. And for...
Great race from Bjorklund, though.
Yeah, great race from Bjorklund. Be the last time this season that we see Glenn Ball turn it out on track, and hopefully we'll see him back in ARA Porsche Cup in not too distant future.
Well, we get to see him in the final.
Not Glenn, because he's not making.
Oh, I thought you said Bjorklund. My brain off. Brain off. Yes, correct.
Bjorklund,
He'll be
though,
back.
Will be into the A final.
Well, unless he wins
winner. Winner from the B final, Kim Andre Bjorklund.
Yeah, very dominant. Very, very dominant.
Matej Lampert also making it through, ahead of Steve Klaus. Julian Murray coming over the line as well, ahead of our pole sitter, Quentin Michelle. He had a couple of great moves actually, but falling back to P5, and then Max Nevin Chaney just about hanging on.
Yeah, Nevin Chaney needs to just take a few minutes, have a breath before he heads out on track, just to recoup that confidence. Because
certainly does.
Yeah, you need it at this track. Yes, and Glenn gets the finish.
And
well,
yes.
Did he crash before the finish line?
No, well after.
Oh, of course, that's the below the hill, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yes, that is our heat racing basically done. We're into our final race. All still to play for.
Very much so.
A lot of our top contenders, in good position. There's no one massively out of position outside of maybe like a Rafael Verdish, who locked into getting into the A final. Actually, he would have been in that B final from the front row. But for Steve Klaus making that mistake on the final lap. So he'll be starting, I believe, P24. So it'll be interesting to see how a driver like that tries to maybe progress through. But everyone else sort of looks like they are where they are. Maybe Mattia Hapacher looks like he's trying to hold back a wave of drivers.
Yeah.
He'll be starting from, I believe, 8th position.
Yeah, I mean, we've got four different teams in that 1, 2, 3, 4 position. Liska, I mean, at the moment, that first lap, that outlap and first 3 laps was unmatchable.
Yeah.
Breaking the draft and absolutely legging it. Philip Hammer had a really strong race. I'm really interested to see how this goes. The Shady boys looks like they're not going to be able to work together. I mean, Scholzcheck's the key to make sure that they can't form a big team flood to influence.
And Pascal Costa as well, trying to break up.
Yeah.
I think he needs to get ahead of a Patcher ASAP.
Yeah, fair.
I think those guys are beside each other on the grid, so it'll be really interesting to see how that all shakes out. But the opening couple of laps crucial, and also crucial. We almost always see a big shunt coming up the mountain on lap 1 of a fairly big fielded race.
Where it really matters, yeah.
Where is that break-off point going to come from? And then what sort of race are we going to have from there? Who's going to get collected? If anyone's going to get collected. They've actually been pretty well behaved. Everyone sort of knows it's the last run of the season and just make sure that everyone has a good evening of racing. You know, championships still to be decided across all 3 of the drivers' categories, not so much in the team standings. That's all pretty much wrapped up. Drivers are going through warm-up now. They've got about 5 seconds or so. And it's an important opportunity for the guys who are maybe in that first heat as well, because they've had to sit cold for the last 20 minutes or so.
I was just seeing where Clays' opposition is after dropping it. Only 4 positions ahead, so it's not over, but it has changed the dynamic for what we thought was almost the AM title lockdown.
Yeah.
Especially with Clays' performance in early rounds.
Yeah, Pro-Am's very close as well. Hapatra trying to sort of make the most of that from his perspective. He's doing everything right so far.
Yeah, because was it Gaza in first, and he's 5 behind. So
yeah. So
yeah, exciting stuff.
It's all pretty close. Hopefully, we'll be able to get at least a preliminary look at the final points before the end of the evening. Obviously, it's still pending post-race decisions.
And obviously, the top 2 are former teammates, and we know F1 rules. That means there's a bitter rivalry.
Yes. Oh, everyone who isn't on your team is an enemy that you're sworn to
exactly.
conquer.
But former teammates are almost like an arch villain.
Yes. We've just wrapped up warm-up. Here is the grid for the final race of the season. Lishka ahead of Hammer, then Ola, Joltashek, Toth, Warren, Simon, and then the first of our Pro-Am drivers, Patcher in P8 ahead of Pascal Costa, Gajer, Pala, and Varga rounding out the top 12. Then Haladesh, Roche, Gonzalez, Vargas, Weigel, our top AM driver, ahead of Larne, Iglesias, Haga, Bernard, Sequeira, Gebski, from the back as well, from his heat, has made it straight through, and Rafael Berdish. And then our drivers who got through from the B final, Bjorklund, Lampard, Kleiss, Mary, Rocher, and Evan Chaney. So that's the grid. Who do we think is going to win?
I mean, Liska. I think that has to be, but you can never count on Ola. Hammer's a really strong driver. Let's see. I think definitely one of the top 3.
Away we go for the final race of the season. Brilliant start once again from Franczek. Lishka comfortable into Team 1 ahead of Philip Hammer. Side by side further back here, Kobe Warren just hanging on from Tamer Simon. Some position swapping further down the field. Quera's dropping a couple. Berdish actually losing a couple as well. Yorkland up 2 positions, so a massive posse here sort of for the tail end of the field, but everyone else sort of running line of start at the minute. Vargas and Haladesh swapping positions, and Iglesias and Haga swapping. This is crucial for the AM standings that these guys don't get into too much trouble. Issue, I think, for... No, sorry. Yeah, just connection issue there for, I believe, Gajer. Could be wrong there. But everyone through the first sector, good and clean so far. Side by side here, coming up the hill. Not what you want to see. Close action there. Haladesh just about hanging on for dear life there. And lives to fight another day. Oh, contact there between Hapatra and Simon. Side by side coming down into Skyline. Hopefully these boys sorted out. No! Costa running into all that's race done. Hopefully everyone can get through. No. Oh my goodness.
Everyone went outside. It's just not stopping.
And that
was a train to the outside. And one guy I mean, I'm not saying he was wrong. He could have been blindside.
Gonzalez around and out as well. I did call it. They said that there probably would be a track blockage.
It could have gone a lot worse.
That could have been a lot worse, but that's race done, season done for Pascal Costa. He's not winning the championship.
No.
And we breathe. But it's still kicking off. We've got Iglesias, Haga, and Bjorklund up 6 positions in his fight from the back of the field. Lovely chopper cam here, coming down into us.
Oh, he's lifting.
Yeah, Iglesias with, he's got a meatball flag.
Yeah, but this is just get off the track.
Yeah, he's got to get off the track. He's causing carnage behind. Verdish running wide. It's all kicking off. Just go pit, just pit. No, he's not pitting. He's going to try and hang it out. That's crazy. Lampert gets up the inside.
Yeah, this is going to cause a death.
Yeah, these guys are trying to squabble around him. He's still like trying to fight, but he's got a meatball. He's got to give this up. He's given the space to at least on the inside, but
no, it's
the other drivers aren't going to know for sure. If
exactly.
So
yeah, exactly.
Normally. No change through your top 6%. Oh my goodness!
I think he tried to get out of the way, and there was a car there.
Yeah. That's no good. That's going to be a massive penalty for Iglesias for driving.
A season ban on the last race.
For
this season.
It's not going to be quite that severe. Sheds and guys are like tripping over each other. It's just like, it is all kicking off. It's just Gajer, Pala, and Varga. There's a train of 5 of them. I mean, it's easy to spot understandings because they're all Hungarian.
Yeah.
But top 6 positions, all unchanged, all sort of line astern. Lishka's pulled out at 3/4 of a second gap, and here's a replay of what happened. Oh, it's a bit of a lunge up the inside, and Costa gets turned, and it doesn't matter how hard you hold the brakes, that's where your car is going to end up, and everyone kind of just piles into it. There's only so much you can do because you get the call so late.
Yeah, for sure.
Stop, at which point you've already committed to the engine.
On that camera, it makes people look stupid, but obviously in cockpit, sometimes a lot of the time you're just blind. You see the car in front. Look at this.
Gajer was in the wall there coming out of Forest Elbow and has his teammates behind him. But the problem is, Pala and Varga aren't really fighting for the championship. Gajer is fighting for the Pro-Am championship, so his teammates are trying to push him along, and he's not doing the business right now. He's fallen well off the back of Simon, well off the back of Apache, who's actually up 1 with that argy-bargy moment with Simon. And it's what a hectic start to this race. Here's Rafael Berdish, up only 3 positions from the start. I guess he's also got caught up in that lap 1 tomfoolery. Crazy start to the race. Back at the front, Lishka has got caught now by Philip Hammer. Surprising, actually, just sort of looking at the lap times there. But yeah, fastest lap of the race now to Tamer Simon.
Yeah, Hammer has a run here.
He does have a run, actually, yeah. Lishka's going to do the smart thing and just hold the white line on the inside and then pull it over as late as he dares. All you've got to do is hold the inside line and do not get crossed over. Just do not overshoot and you'll be absolutely fine. Just like Mattia Patra has just proven right there. He defended the inside but ran it deep and he's lost 2 positions. He actually tried the move, I think, on Warren there.
Liska doesn't look his usual self right now. I don't know what to say. Just looks a step off the pace.
I think because he just didn't get broke, or he didn't break completely clear. The slipstream in these cars is very strong. So if you don't get completely away, then
yeah, I suppose Liska had the draft broken on lap 1 last time.
Yeah, I think Ola had maybe a very wobbly opening lap or 2, and then just couldn't get back into range, and then Liska was able to pull clear. Liska though looking very strong down the mountain. He's able to actually gap Hammer, but then we'll see if we just keep an eye on this, and hopefully nothing else major happens in the meantime. We'll see that gap come down. It's about 0.63 as we come out of the Forest Elbow, and that gap will probably be almost halved by the time we get to the bottom of the hill once again. Joltasek hanging on ahead of champion-elect, basically, David Toth. A top 5 is going to be more than enough, I believe, for Toth to win our Pro Championship here. So no risks, but if you can make a move, it'll try. Especially when there's a gap behind 4 seconds to Colby Warren. He'll certainly have a look. That gap did sort of cut in half.
This is going to gaggle up.
It certainly is. Colby Warren and is that Tamer Simon, Tia Patra as well. So this is a battle for P6. Patra doing a good job here, but he did make that mistake on this lap into turn 2. I'm just getting word in my ear of just sort of where the live points are at right now. So Patcher just needs to keep it ahead of Gajer, but Simon might play the team game here and back everything in towards Gajer. So it's Patcher and Gajer sort of right now for the Pro-Am Championship. Whoever finishes ahead of the other probably wins it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be an interesting battle.
Patcher just needs to stay ahead of Gajer, but all of this fighting between himself, Warren, and Simon has brought the rest of the chasing pack in.
Yeah, if this, Sam's very astute noticing that.
And also, Gajer has his backup, which we mentioned before. And we've seen the sheer size of the gap a couple of laps ago. So on lap 2 of this race, Gajer into the outside wall at Forest Elbow. He was 2 seconds off the back of this pack. It's all closed in once again. And this Pro-Am Championship is certainly back in business. It'll all settle down sort of coming through the mountain section here. It is one line pretty much the whole way through. You can make a move into Forest Elbow, but you probably shouldn't. You're likely to tag your rival into the wall.
It's so hard. Like, you see them early shifting because they just don't have the full-on confidence to get that break down. And
I think there's an issue for Anthony Brugnan, but we're going to look back.
Oh, this is the damage in Glazius.
Oh, yeah, that's a big hit. That's a big hit. And that's a big hit as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to carry on for the championship, but...
Yeah, but if he's had a meatball flag, then... Yeah, Am title probably decided there. All Steve Klaus needs to do is just sort of keep it on the road. Doesn't really matter. Unless Gordon Hogg just somehow wins it from here, wins the entire race from here. I suspect that Steve Klaus is going to be our champion. A patcher here. Has got ahead, actually, of Colby Warren, so he's got a little bit of a buffer between himself and Gergo Gajer for that Pro-Am Championship. It's a pro driver as well, so that's actually really good for a patcher. Someone who doesn't really have a say in the fight here. But Colby Warren's a tough racer. He's not going to take that line down. And there's probably a pride aspect as well. Where
yeah, they came to race, right?
A pro driver doesn't want to get beat by a Pro-Am.
No, of course not.
Absolutely not. I mean, nobody wants to get beat by anyone, really, if they can help it. But back at the front here, Daniel Ola hanging on, actually, from Rafał Soltaszek, but defending the inside line there is super strong.
I mean, you're back racing now on iRacing. If we end up in a battle and I'm ahead, like, there's going to be a lot of pride on the line for you to try and get past me.
I'll just fence you, man. I don't care anymore. I don't have a pro license to worry about these days. I'll just fence whoever I like. I'll make it look like a really good accident in the process.
Yes.
You'll never catch me in 10 record, people. Whether I actually 10 record or not is another story, but you never catch me doing that. Meanwhile, back at the front, Rafał Soltaszek trying to keep nice and tight behind Daniel Ola here. Oh, just lost connection briefly. Is that Mahaladesh having issues? Yeah, all good, back in action. I think he's had a couple of connection issues. Hopefully that doesn't persist for him. He's running P15 a little ways off the back of Leon Weigel, who's actually worked his way nicely up through the field. If Sam is able to do any quick maths for us, how far forward does Leon Weigel need to go and how far back does Steve Kleiss need to go for those positions to swap actually for the AMP Championship, despite Weigel missing on back though with sort of the key battle in terms of a championship situation here. Patrick breaking free of Colby Warren, who's breaking free of Gergo Gajer. Crucial here for Patcher that he's able to actually get some separation and then a little bit of breathing space. If you can just have a chill moment under this sort of pressure, when the stakes are sort of this high, like you're fighting for a championship and you've wrestled an opportunity here to big sideways moment there. I think that was
Bjorklund in big battle with Mahades. They swapped quite a few times there.
Yeah, Bjorklund actually worked, considering his qualifying, Bjorklund
up
worked right.
10. I see in 10, that can't be right, no.
Yeah, no, up 10. Yeah,
up 10?
He's 25, yeah, he's up 10. So I guess he got through that melee down the mountain on lap 1 when Costa got turned.
Fair, of course, yeah.
But I think everyone kind of got through there okay-ish. Maybe a couple of people damaged. Iglesias sort of springs to mind.
Oh, Colby Warren.
Around and out of the race. Oh. No, he's still going to keep going.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of that.
We do need to see a replay of that. Warren has too much damage, he's going to pull it over. I'm just getting word in me here that Weigl would need to finish second or better if things were to stay as they are for Steve Kleiss to win the championship from here. So, as much as Weigl is doing really well, he's up into 13th overall, +4 from where he started. Second position is probably out of his reach. I know we've seen some strange things happen this season in variable conditions, but it is bone dry, and these pro drivers are absolutely on it. So, anything more than that from Weigl would be great, but Steve Kleiss looks like he has this championship completely wrapped up. If we get a replay of what happened to Warren, that would be superb. As
Gaz has been passed with Bala.
He has, which I believe, so this probably doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's an opportunity for Pala to go and get Hapacher and drag Gauger along with him. Gauger doesn't know where he has the pace off Hapacher. Not even close either. So, it's a wide one there from Vargas.
Oi.
Careful on the rejoin. He's near dropped to try not to get picked off.
And you don't need to worry about slowdowns anymore with iRacing. They just clear themselves now under full throttle.
That seems like it. So Warren then into the cutting. Sorry, he's going to just do it on his own. On in the second. Oh no!
Whoa.
Well, he's got hit, and that would have been from Gergo Gauger, who will almost.
Was that Ericsson?
No. No, that was definitely a hit. If curse these replays. Not playing ball sadly this evening, but that looked like definite contact, and in such a way where Warren's already committed to the corner. Oh, no, that's too late. That's too late of a dive. He's not got far enough alongside. He's just fenced Warren.
How I saw it, I don't think he was going for a dive. I think he just took the line and, like, I think he just blew the corner and then came back to the apex.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Warren looked conservative on the way in there, but I mean,
I'm not saying it's not the driver's behind's fault. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it was just an intent dive.
He just smacked the wall there, coming through.
Win it or bin it.
Through Solomon Park there.
So this is Gaz's last push effort, using Varga to push him. Pala to follow, Varga to push.
Gauger doesn't have the pace, sadly, and he is almost certainly going to pick up a penalty if Warren protests that. That was pretty slam dunk to me. He's just not got enough alongside there, and it's one of those corners where, like, the car head is always returning.
Was it Gaza on the inside then on that?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was Pala, but yeah, that makes sense.
Replay here of Vargas behind.
I wondered how he got done here.
I think that was Mirage. Could be wrong there. Scary moment. If you go off there, then there's not much room to get back on and set one time before the toughest braking zones in all of iRacing. Back up the front, a breakaway has formed. Lishka and Hammer pulling away from Daniel Ola. Now, the Szczerzi guys don't really look like they've had any sort of pace this evening relative to what we've seen this season. Lishka and Hammer have both been quicker than the Szczerzi guys, and that's remained true even here in the A final. Oh, big lock up there up the inside. Drum, Bernich was trying to recover some points after a tough evening for him. Ola under pressure again from Scholtesek. So this is sort of helping Lishka and Hammer out in terms of pulling away. Ola's having to mirror drive and defend in places, and he's not able to sort of run his best pace, trying to hang on here.
Yeah, Hammer hanging on. Two-man race there at the front. I mean, Hammer's following close enough that this can go either way.
Yeah, I think it'll just be settled on the last out. Let these guys sort of push on. We'll have one more, if my maths serves me correct. A little bit wide there from Lishka, but you can get away with that. These cars have enough ride height where you can kind of wind that outside car quite quickly. Ooh, that's a slippery moment coming down the hill there for Hammer. This is actually crucial for Lishka if he wants to win this race. That's a big enough gap that's a lot for Hammer to make up in a full lap.
Yeah, 100%.
Even with the slipstream, that's a lot to make up.
Oh,
Gauger with a connection issue.
Yeah, connection, yeah.
He's popped back in. But it looks like it's going to be Hapacher that wins out here in Pro-Am. In fact,
Oh, this is going to get spicy.
oi, oi, oi. Toth up the inside.
Souls check. Very confident, yeah.
Yeah. I think Solsek knows as well that Toth can't risk too much here. Back at Gage. Hala hasn't been able to close in at all on the patch.
Yeah, exactly. Even the teammate he let through to try and help catch is just not mattered.
Last lap, Patrick put 6/10 on Pala. He's fallen off the back now, actually, Patrick, of Tamash Simon. But even still, he's a 10th and a half a lap quicker than...
He'll want to stay away from Simon, though, right?
He will. I mean, if Simon's really playing the team game, he'll just back it up like crazy, but not the case. Gordon Hogg losing out to Rafael Berdish. And that's battle for 17th place. Decent points for Hogg. But yeah, it looks like Manfly was going to win out today in AM, but it's going to be Steve Kleiss for the AM Championship. Hammer has caught back up. This is the final lap of the race. We're about to take over 18 minutes. These guys are definitely not going to finish the final lap here before that time runs out. So this will be it on the run to the line. Hammer's close, but not quite close enough, I think, to make a move right now. 6/10 is the gap, and that's...
Yeah, because he needs it now.
Yeah, he needs to be 3/10 behind right now. So crucial corners here for the race win here. And Lishka's been so good coming down the mountain. Lampert with an issue there, but stick with this lead battle.
Yeah, you called it.
Yeah.
Down the mountain, tremendous speed.
Hammer has dropped it, and not the Hammer. He's basically dropped it through the forest elbow. And Lishka has 3 corners left to pick up another race win this season. It's almost a little bit of an anticlimax to conclude the season. Hoping for a massive spicy.
Oh,
Hallidish
has gone.
With an issue. He's dropping back. Lorne and Berdish gaining out of that. But it's going to be Frankishek Lishka, to win the final race of the season here. Dominant display all evening. Stuck it on pole. Won his heat. Has pulled away here in the end. He wins the final round here at Bathurst. Mattia Patrick's going to sneak his way into a championship in the Pro-Am with a really good P7 overall and wins in Pro-Am.
And Steve Kleiss is going to lock his championship as well after that unfortunate display from Ruben.
Actually just going to almost sneak another couple of positions there. It's all kicked off in the final lap. Berdish there has dropped behind Lorne, I believe.
Yeah.
And Steve Kleiss, an issue for Helder Seguer. Just 2 corners from the end. He's going to drop back to the last of the cars still running. But it looks like Steve Kleiss is going to wrap up. He's actually finished P19, so he's worked his way a little bit further forwards. Issues for Sequeira, a couple of others as well on that final lap. David, I mean, crazy race in some respects, and then a slight anticlimax at the end, and then all kicked off at the end and didn't catch probably half of it.
Sure, agreed, yeah.
Just seeing positions fly up and down our live timing there. Just in the last, I guess everyone sort of went, it's the last corners of the season.
Yeah.
Screw it, we're going to have a good time here.
I like this but obviously Steve Kleiss dropping it and looking like handed his champion to Ruben Iglesias. Ruben Iglesias dropping it, and then he let it all get to his head and a bit flustered, and he's driven, I mean, quite terribly how he handled the recovery.
Yeah.
But I can understand what he's going through. He's probably thinking, I don't need much. I just need to get this damn car to the finish, and it just all didn't work out.
Yeah, sadly not going to plan there for Iglesias there. We're actually just waiting for him to come over the line so we can actually finalize all results, and he's just done that now. So we'll get our final results for the final round of the season up for you in just a moment. But it's going to be Frankishek Lishka with a dominant race win.
Yeah, for sure. It never looked like he would be outside of the top there.
Yeah,
in any race.
Philip Hammer tried to hang on, but it looked like Lishka was so strong coming down the hill that Hammer just couldn't cope with it at the end. But still, a strong result to end his season from the former champion, ahead of Daniel Ola, Rafael Scholteszek, David Toth, sort of in that quartet, fighting for third position. Trio there. Then Tamer Simon, ahead of Mattia Patcher, who wins out in Pro-Am. Not just for the race, but we believe for the championship as well. Obviously, pending post-race stuff, we don't know. Maybe there is something that we didn't see, and these results are all still very provisional. Balázs Pála, Matej Varga, and Ivan Vargas rounding out the top 10. Look like a lot of activity, sort of in and around that sort of P10, P9, P10, all the way down through. Guys are down there in P13 behind Leon Weigel, who wins out this evening in AM. But our championship, I believe, goes to Steve Klaus. Further on down, Bjorklund, my pick, a good recovery drive.
Brilliant, up 11.
14, up 11, not just in this race, but also having to work through a B final as well, having to work his way up through that. Lorne, P15, Verdish worked his way up to P16. Gordon Haag was a strong run out, P17. Mahaladej, Klaus, our AM champion, we believe, ahead of Matej Lampert. Sort of quiet evening for Lampert. Ahead of Anthony Bernan, Quentin Rocher, solid points for him, and Max Nevenchani as well from the very back of the grid, just staying out of trouble and doing his absolute best. Julian Murray held the square, and then the last of our finishers, Ruben Iglesias, just about dragging his ACA esports car home in the end, but certainly got into a little bit of trouble in that last race, as did Colby Warren, Pavel Gebski, Gonzalez and Pascal Costa there. Those final three drivers getting into issues on the opening lap.
Big wreck could have gone worse. It was bad,
yeah,
but it could have ruined 10 cars race.
Yeah, it was bad, and everyone, it looked like, oh, this is just like the worst pileup, and then it kind of just all filtered through okay somehow.
Pascal Costa just held his brakes.
It's just like any day on the M25. It's like, oh, massive traffic jam, and it's clear. Oh, on we go. Only a couple of people falling by the wayside there.
Yeah.
But yeah, a fantastic season and
absolutely stacked.
Race. Yeah,
absolutely stacked. I couldn't believe it when I saw the lineup.
Yeah.
And it showed the battling was really strong. I think that race, obviously, Liska, absolute time. Matej Hapacha really showing what he had this season. P7 in that stacked field.
Yeah. Super result from a Pro-Am driver.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's a borderline pro, but really showing now he can mix it.
And it was good of Hapacha as well. He's got involved in quite a few incidents in his time in this series, not just this season, but in previous seasons as well. He was able to sort of finally sort of piece it all together and put together the performance that he deserved, that his pace and his ability, I think, deserved. So really, really good stuff from him. And then also a special shout out to Steve Klaus. We're just waiting on a few interviews. We've got one, but I'll quickly mention Steve Klaus, who has popped into the booth a few times, doing just about what he needed to do to win out in AM.
Yes, after dropping it on that 2 laps from the end on his own, that must have been a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
You know, the final locked in, 2 corners to go under no pressure. I mean,
championship rivals, you know, doing well as well around him, and just not quite.
Worst feeling though. We've all been there.
So we have interviewers. The first one that we want to grab, we'll hopefully have him on board. I'll drag him up. Is David Toth. We believe our championship winner, providing that there's nothing post-race, but the points look pretty safe for him. David, if you can hear us, we believe congratulations on winning the Pro Championship. Very tough and very competitive season, a really stacked field, and it looks like you've come out on top. Tell us how you feel.
Hey guys, yeah, it was a quite long and enjoyable season. I'm very happy that I could win the championship with my team, and Sasha also got the team championship as well. So we are quite happy. You know, it was a bit of a practice with the car because we don't now compete in the PESC qualifier if it ever happens. I don't know. There is no news about it. So yeah, it was nice. The Impulse drivers were very fast all around. So I think I had to have a bit of luck to win the championship, because I wouldn't say that I was the fastest, but I was quite good on points. You know, I was always in the top 5 or top 10, and it was enough to win the championship.
Yeah, super stuff there, David. Yeah, you mentioned your teammates as well. There's a lot of you guys out there. How important have your teammates been in terms of helping you and you helping them to generate the championship, not just for the teams, but for yourself as a driver?
We planned a few practice sessions together, usually on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. We had a little practice. I would say we could do better, because we are still lacking something in the setup, because it's hard to find the perfect balance for everyone. So we really need to work on it. But everybody was there, everybody put hard working in that, so it's a good start for sure.
Yeah, it's a good start. You guys are a fairly new team and organization. We haven't seen you guys too much in the past, but we see a lot of you now. So you mentioned the plans that are moving towards the PES qualifiers moving forward. It looks like this series has been good preparation with that. So how do you find the Porsche Cup car, now that you've put plenty of time into it, and then how the series has maybe helped you along in terms of getting prepared for the Porsche Cup qualifiers?
Actually, this team started in January. It's a university project, so that's why we are quite active right now, because we were gathering the drivers. We want to start an academy team as well, so we can help them to improve.
Wow.
I have to be honest with you, I tried a few PES qualifier before. I was never competitive with it, so I want to be a bit better this year if the PES qualifier will ever happen, as I said. So I need to work a bit on this car, but I'm fully focusing on it right now.
Super stuff. Just before we let you go, once again, congratulations on the championship. Is there anyone else that you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, I want to thank to all of my supporters, especially my girlfriend, who was supporting me all the way, and I thank everybody who watched the race, who watched the whole championship, and they were cheering for us. And yeah, let's see what the future holds.
Super stuff, David. Once again, congratulations from us for your win in the Pro Championship, and for you guys at SDK Esports for the Team Championship. Well done.
Yeah, excellent job.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. So that was David Tother, our winner in Pro Championship. A really strong, sort of really disciplined, consistent championship run for him. It wasn't always him at the front in qualifying, but he was never out of contention at any point in the season. And
no, that's right. I mean, it's not a race, it's a championship, and his name went under the radar a bit for me, but he's right. He never had a bad race.
Yeah.
It's always strong races, securing those points, and rocked up and closed the championship nice and easy. Really impressive. And yeah, so yeah, very disciplined. He sounded very disciplined. I liked his answers. I like how the team's been formed, and yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah.
I hope now PES qualifiers happens, because they've got an absolute bunch of guys who work well together.
Exactly,
and it's a bright livery.
It is a bright livery. Yeah, you'll notice it coming. So yeah, fantastic stuff from those guys.
Right, I'll bring up Glenn.
Yes, we have one more, so I'll let you take this one.
Thank you, mate. Hello, Glenn. Can you hear me okay, mate?
Evening.
Evening. First question. How was it?
1.5k iRating and Bathurst. So yes,
that's why the question was there. You finished. We had a close eye on you in the consolation final.
Yeah.
Was you just hoping one thing went wrong? Because you were sat in P7, I believe. There was an incident in front of you, but it wasn't enough to cause the gap to be closed. But was you just logging laps and hoping, or would the final not have been something you was hoping to take part in?
Obviously hope to be in the A final, but yeah, my pace, I was like 3 seconds off it tonight, so I was just hoping enough happened in front of me to grant me through, but I wasn't holding my breath tonight.
No, sure. I mean, 3 seconds off this pace at this track in this car is absolutely fine. I think Jane will attest that. Absolutely fine. Yeah. It was an absolutely stacked field. It's a very difficult track, and this car is. I mean, you say your iRating. I would have never touched this car in this current state on that iRating. So to be honest, I'm very impressed. Championship
Either
enjoyed?
brave or stupid, so.
Well, yeah, I couldn't pick which one. It's somewhere in between for sure. Is this a car you're going to stick out, or did you join for the league? Is this a car now you're enjoying? Where are you at with the Porsche Cup car?
It's a car that I've been running for over a year now. It's just getting the confidence in getting the power down. That's my biggest thing, especially with Pete Berryman in the Apex coaching sessions. That's my biggest thing. Is just having a bit more confidence in my right foot, which my brain says I can do, but my foot says I can't. So,
so a trick we got time. It's the end of the season. You open the wheel up way earlier than you think. Get some throttle down, and then almost finish. Like trust that. Like what I'm trying to say is you don't always have to build up your throttle while you're opening the wheel. You can get that wheel open a lot earlier than you think, and sort of, just get some trajectory with the wheels straight, and then there's usually time to fix your exit. It will just give you a lot more confidence. The problem with spinning up the rears on exit a lot as well in this car is the tyres overheat, and if you're doing it 4 or 5 times a lap, then yeah, you're going to find this exponential get more difficult to get the power down. So yeah, if it is a power thing, I wouldn't focus on your right foot. I'd focus on your steering, trying to change your line to get your wheel open earlier, and then in your right foot's just going to find it so much easier to put the power down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But listen to Pete over me. If Pete said opposite, listen to Pete. Although Pete only knows how to go fast. Yeah, that's his problem. He only knows how to quick, Mr. Berryman. He's too quick. He doesn't understand us normies.
Yeah, Pete's very quick.
Very quick. No,
you class yourself as a normie as well.
I'll class myself as a normie against Pete any day. He is scary fast.
Have you enjoyed the season, Glenn? With the
it's been mega.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's been...
Go on.
So yeah, it's been mega. Especially sort of you see some of the names appearing, some of the regulars like Hammer, etc., and then like you see like David tipping up, and then you're watching the live broadcast on the Nürburgring 24, and his name's there for on top split. You're like, what am I doing with these guys? But yeah, it's been great. Learned a lot. Enjoyed it.
Good. It's been excellent having you and the team. I always look forward to seeing your names. I know Sam does as well. He's a huge fan. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, mate?
Same as always, you guys for putting the whole league on. I say I'll definitely be back. This is my second one now. Again, like Apex Academy for doing all the coaching, and finally to Nick and THR for being awesome, and always putting on the best show we can.
Brilliant, mate. I look forward to seeing you next season, and yeah, thank you for the kind words. And again, congratulations on finishing. You did well, better than I would have done at that rating. I promise. I wouldn't have showed up, mate. So you're a step ahead.
I think I'm sort of mid-table in the AMs, so I'm relatively happy with that.
Congrats. That's brilliant, mate. Right,
cheers.
I look forward to chatting to you next season. Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers, mate.
Glenn, his iRating in this field, it's insane.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of this series as well. It sort of brings a little bit of everyone together.
Yeah. And you can learn a lot in these situations. I attest a lot of my skill, I'm using that in small letters, came from not backing out from the big top split events and the sim cups, and think, I got smashed, but I learned a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Long journey.
A special little shout out there from Glenn, about the ARA sessions. We do so much with Apex Racing Academy. Obviously, the host or the title of the series is ARA Porsche Cup. Heat Berryman runs sessions on a Monday evening in line with the official series, which this week did go to Bathurst, so there's plenty of opportunity for, and Glenn was there, taking the opportunity to learn from someone who knows how to win in this car. He has won plenty of races in this car. And we also run GT Sprint coaching sessions on a Monday as well, along with IMSA sessions on a Wednesday evening. So plenty to learn from some of our best coaches, some of the best drivers in the world. So that's Apex Racing Academy there for you. Sam there trying to work the banners there. We also have the Late Apex that was on earlier today with him sat here rather than sat behind the camera there.
Yeah, we actually discussed PESC in that, and the question marks on the date, because obviously it's been 3-4 years of a very regimented arrangement that now has passed.
It has. I still suspect it'll be back. I don't have any actual confirmation or insider info. For anyone who caught my stream yesterday, I am back streaming. But yes, I'd basically said like none of us really have a clue.
Sure.
We're just waiting for more info. But nobody has any secret info on that one. But if we do have any great, wonderful, wise info to share with the world, then it'll be on the Late Apex on a Thursday evening, 4 p.m. BST. And once BST is over and we go back to GMT, it'll be 4 p.m. GMT. But we still got a few months left of British summertime left to go. That's pretty much it.
So
I believe we've got no further interviews. So that's it for the season. We'll be back. Well, I mean, yourself and Sam will be back.
Yep.
Next week.
Correct.
It'll be
TCR, I believe, until Sam says something in my ear.
Unless you've got endurance.
That's in 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So still loads happening in the studio here for Apex Racing Leagues. And then there's plenty still happening on ARA TV as well. We've also still got GT Trophy ongoing as well. That's on a Tuesday evening. That's probably our other sort of like main prime slot that's still running in terms of our leagues. So feel free to check that out. I don't know if signups are still open. If there's any spots open.
There's spots open for the TCR, spots open for the GT3.
Yep.
They're closed at the moment for the endurance.
Gotcha. So we're still have options there. If you want more Apex Racing League action, then we've got something there for you. But that's it for us for this evening. I'll call it there for the Porsche Cup. Been a great season.
Has indeed.
A lot of action and activity and some really high quality driving, some chaos and shots along the way. We had a little bit of everything, and I've been happy to sit in for a couple of days. It's been really good fun, and hopefully I get to do a few more in the future.
Yes, you are more than welcome.
But that's it for myself, Jimmy Fluke, for David Sampson on my left here. We'll be back with more Apex Racing League stuff very, very soon. I believe it's TCR that'll be up next week. But for us, for now, for Porsche Cup, it's the end of the season. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Ciao.